Part 9, Bernard Malmud, The Fixer. Yaakov pleaded with the animal to make haste. It was dark, and the steppe wind cut keenly, but freed off the wagon, the horse examined the world. He also stopped to crop grass, tearing it audibly with his eroded teeth, and wandering from one side of the road to the other. Once in a while, he turned and trotted back a few steps. Yaakov, frantic, threatened the switch, but they both knew he had none. In desperation, he kicked the beast with his heels. The nag bucked, and for a perilous few minutes it was like being in a rowboat on a stormy sea. Having barely survived, Yaakov stopped kicking. He considered ditching his goods, hoping the lightened load might speed things up, but didn't dare. The description of how cool he is to the animal are really difficult for me to read. I think it's part of his turmoil. He just doesn't care about anything, just as long as he achieves his goal. I'm a bitter man, you bastard horse. Come to your senses or you'll suffer. It availed him nothing. By then it was pitch dark. The wind boomed. The steppe was a black sea full of strange voices. Here nobody spoke Yiddish, and the nag, maybe feeling the strangeness of it, began to trot, and soon came close to flight. Though the fixer was not a superstitious man, he had been a superstitious boy, and he recalled Lilith, queen of evil spirits, and the fish witch, who tickled travelers to death, otherwise made herself helpful. Ghosts rose like smoke in the Ukraine. From time to time he felt a presence at his back, but would not turn. Then a yellow moon rose like a flower, growing and lit the empty steppe deep into the shadowy distance. The distance glowed. There'll be a long night, the fixer thought. They galloped through a peasant village, its long steepled church yellow in moonlight, the squat thatched huts dark. No lights anywhere. Though he smelled wood smoke, he saw none. Yaakov considered dismounting, knocking on a stranger's door, and begging for a night's lodging. But he felt that if he got off the horse, he would never get back on. He was afraid he might be robbed of his few rubles, so he stayed put and made uncertain progress. The sky was thick with stars, the wind blowing cold in his face. Once he slept momentarily and woke in shivering sweat from a nightmare. He thought he was irretrievably lost. But to his amazement, before him in the distance rose a vast height, glowing in dim moonlight and sprinkled sparsely with lights, at the foot of which ran a broad dark river reflecting the half-hidden moon. The nag stopped jogging, and it took them an almost endless hour to make the last half burst to the water. It was freezing cold, but the wind was down on the Dnieper. There was no ferry, the boatman said. Closed down, closed shut. He waved his arms as though talking to a foreigner, although Yaakov had spoken to him in Russian. That the ferry had stopped running sharpened the fixer's desire to get across the river. He hoped to run to bed at an inn and to wake early to look for work. I'll row you across for a ruble, the boatman said. Too much, Yaakov answered, though deadly tired. Which way to the bridge? 6 or 8 versts, a long way for the same thing. A ruble, the fixer groaned. Who's got that much money? You can take it or leave it. It's no easy thing rowing across a dangerous river on a pitch black night. We might both drown. What would I do with my horse? The fixer spoke more to himself. That's none of my business. The boatman, his shoulders like a tree trunk and wearing a shaggy, grizzled beard, blew out one full nostril on a rock, then the other. The white of his right eye was streaked with blood. Look, mate, why don't you make more trouble than it's worth? Why do you make more trouble than it's worth? Even if I could haul it across, which I can't, the beast will die on you. It doesn't take a long look to see he's on his last legs. Look at him trembling. Listen to him breathing like a gored bull. I was hoping to sell him in Kiev. What fool would buy a bag of old bones? I thought maybe a horse butcher or someone, at least the skin. I say the horse is dead, said the boatman, but you can save a ruble if you're smart. I'll take him for the cost of the trip. It's a bother for me, and I'll be lucky to get 50 kopecks for the carcass, but I'll do you the favor, seeing you're a stranger. He's only giving me trouble, the fixer thought. He stepped into the rowboat with his bag of tools, books, and other parcels. The boatman untied the boat, dipped both oars into the water, and they were off. The nag, tethered to a paling, watched from the moonlit shore. Like an old Jew he looks, thought the fixer. The horse whined, and when that proved useless, farted loudly. I don't recognize the accent you speak, said the boatman, pulling the oars. It's Russian, but from which province? I've lived in Latvia as well as other places, the fixer muttered. At first I thought you were a goddamn Pole. Pen, whasis, punny, whatsisis. The boatman laughed and then snickered. Or maybe a motherfucking Jew. But though you're dressed like a Russian, you look more like a German. May the devil destroy them all, excepting yourself and yours, of course. Latvian, said Yakov. Anyway, God save us from the bloody Jews, the boatman said as he rowed. Those long-nosed, pock-marked, cheating, blood-sucking parasites. They'd rob us of daylight if they could. They foul up earth and air with their bodies stink and garlic breaths, and Russia will be done to death by the diseases they spread unless we make an end to it. The Jew's a devil. It is a known fact. And if you ever watch one peel off his stinking boot, you will see a split hoof. It's true. I know, for, as the Lord is my witness, I saw one with my own eyes. He thought nobody was looking, but I saw his hoof, as plain as day. He stared at Yakov with the bloody eye. The fixer's foot itched, but he didn't touch it. Let him talk, he thought, yet he shivered. Day after day, they crap up the motherland, the boatman went on monotonously, and the only way to save ourselves is to wipe them out. I don't mean to kill a Jeet now and then, with a blow of the fist or kick in the head, but wipe them all out, which we've sometimes tried but never done it as it should be done. I say we are to call our manfolk together, armed with guns, knives, pitchforks, clubs, anything that will kill a Jew. And when the church bells begin to ring, we move on the Jidi quarter, which you can tell by the stink, routing them out, wherever they're hiding, in attics, cellars, or rat holes, bashing in their brains, stabbing their herring-filled guts, shooting off their snotty noses. No exceptions made for young or old, because if you spare any, they breed like rats, and then the job's to do all over again. And then, when we've slaughtered the whole cursed tribe of them, and the same is done in every province throughout Russia, wherever we can smoke them out, though we've got most of them nice and bunched up and the pail will pile up the corpses and soak them with benzene and light fires that people will enjoy all over the world.